Hey, salut friends. Today we are focusing on Masculin Pluriel from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is a 2014 release created by himself, of course. I have this metallic grey presentation here, which I think is one of the best looking from this brand, along with that of Absolu pour le Soir. Now the fragrance has changed to gold, which I think smells a bit sharp and musky compared to this, but the general smell has been kept the same. Now I have talked about the brand of MFK here and there on the channel. There are some standalone releases from them that I enjoy, like Oud Satin Mood, Lumière Noire and Absolu pour le Soir. Respect the distinct conceptual signature of Rouge, but overall as a house, I have not connected with most of their releases. The last 6 to 7 years have been particularly disappointing with the same laundry masks over and over again. It has essentially become a mass luxury brand now to take any risks. I think that could apply to Francis Kurkdjian himself. He seems to have become this celebrity-like perfumer who has a lot of business responsibility after selling to LVMH and needs to limit himself within boundaries and make calculated decisions. He has talked about the challenges he faced during his earlier career and even shared some of his frustration, which seems like he expected more from the industry.
I would say my ideal work would have to be at like an in-house perfumer at Chanel or in-house perfumer at Hermès or at Guerlain, but that position never came to me.
Now he is also in-house perfumer at Dior, which would mean being more of an ambassador of such a big brand rather than mostly staying in creative mode. He also indicated he never creates for himself. He is happy to do what is asked of him, which makes sense. I think sometimes as enthusiasts, we overestimate the authority that perfumers actually have in these big conglomerates. In any case, coming to Masculin Pluriel, this is a modern reinterpretation of a classic Fougère. As such, opens with a very short-lived tart grapefruit note, which reveals the central Fougère scent profile. It also becomes evident that this is more of a robust woody Fougère than an aromatic herbal one. The lavender comes in, which they claim is Provençal lavender, though this does not come across like a typical Provençal lavender to me, which can go in the spicy, herbaceous direction. It's a little bit aromatic, fresh, but rather camphoriferous, cool, grey, metallic, shiny, lightly sweet lavender, saturated, cleaned and polished. The color of the fragrance is a good representation of how it smells. The grey outlook has become its own eccentric theme in fragrances, be it Gris Clair, Creed Himalaya, Grey Vetiver or Gris Dior, which is of course their house color. Maybe Francis had Dior in mind when making this, who knows. With the lavender, I get some vetiver, apparently Haitian. Again clean and woody, nothing green, swampy or earthy. The Virginian cedar also comes in, which might as well be the dominant note in this fragrance. Brings in this smooth, creamy woodiness. This forms that sort of luxury shaving foam kind of smell, which is the central crux of the scent. They are not listed, but I also get geranium in addition to the woods, some pepper, incense or myrrh, giving some resinous touches. Not overbearing. In fact, the fragrance itself feels creamy, aerated and borderline foamy overall. Tonka bean, coumarin are in here obviously, like in Fougères or most fragrances at this point. Further, I also get patchouli. Again, it feels like a sweetened, modern, glossy patchouli rather than dank or earthy. Really clean, sanitized, well-groomed man in a grey suit-like image to the smell. Clinical almost. They also mention leather, which I don't get much of. Maybe a soft suede-like nuance for those foamy, creamy, woody notes to settle upon. There is also this underlying crystalline sweetness coming in with the big musks. The smell does not change much. If anything, the creamy, woody aspects turn dry, a bit musky and dusty, and the patchouli becomes evident, but that's about it. Performance is overall moderate, lasts 6 to 7 hours, and average projection. Pretty versatile, year-round, formal, semi-formal kind of fragrance, I think. It is masculine leaning, but not stereotypically so. Overall, I do enjoy this. Only the second one I own from this brand. Having said that, it is a very simple, straightforward fragrance. It is self-aware in that it is not trying to be distinctive. It certainly takes the Fougère style and tries to bring in some twists in comparison to the old school classics and be modern and multifaceted. So the pluriel in the name does fit this scent. It is polished and smells good quality and certainly a notch above designers. Some people have criticized it for being too simple, similar to Gris Soir. I can see that. Certainly not going to satisfy someone who is looking for something grand, opulent, or on the other hand, something strange and challenging for a niche fragrance. But what it sets out to do, it does really well. I think the context we are in, with not many good modern Fougère fragrances, is also helping this to stand out more. I don't think it's worth the asking prices either. I got this from a discounter and this does land there, essentially for less than 100 euros. And at that price, considering how new designer fragrances are like, I would rather take this. I like the general grey idea. Grey to me conveys a certain sense of neutrality, maturity and resilience. The neoclassical construction of the fragrance making a Fougère into this shiny, modern, sleek, urban entity, emphasizing clean lines is also appealing. Certainly one of the better releases from this house. I don't think he can do or even wants to do something like this anymore. At least it is still in the collection. Coming to Francis Kurkdjian, I'm really glad he has reached this position on a personal level. Did not have any connections to Gris, coming from an Armenian family which was impacted by war, and even to have navigated French businesses while keeping his identity, even his family name, among all the Jean-Paul, Luc or Pierre. Though he is French, I would imagine it was not always easy. Where I don't sense a connection is with his creative side in recent years. And like I said in the beginning, I totally understand that as a perfumer, you are simply following briefs with all the constraints associated. But working around all that noise and finding something more, at least every now and then, shouldn't be too much to expect. Unfortunately, it's not been the case even at Dior. The last 3 years have been disappointing, and now we are having Esprit de Parfum, Sauvage Flanker, re-releases of A Pomme and so forth. The masses may continue to enjoy them, but more and more people who are passionate about fragrances are turning away. Will this streak continue till the end, or will there be any standouts? We will wait and see what his legacy will be. Either way, that's been my review of Masculin Pluriel. Thanks for watching, take care and ciao.